Gracious, right when we felt that the Shirley Strawberry case couldn't get any more chaotic, it just did in light of the fact that Steve Harvey has now been hauled into this wreck Ernesto, as of late got hit with a few additional charges which prompted Steve getting uncovered for purportedly attempting to get Ernesto out of the U.S. So does this imply that Steve is in a difficult situation with the federal authorities? Really, this entire case is a hopeless train wreck. How about we get into it in the event that you haven't been following this story show? There is a ton to unload about this show. Shirley's significant other Ernesto has consistently had an exceptionally vivid past. Yet for reasons unknown, Shirley chose to neglect that piece of his past, seek after a relationship with him. And even with him, she presumably felt that he was starting over or something to that effect. Yet Ernesto kept on being associated with a ton of criminal way of behaving, meanwhile keeping it stowed away from her, some of which are out and out frightening. The insane part about this is that Ernesto would likely have pulled off his violations on the off chance that he hadn't perpetrated rental misrepresentation alongside his colleague and exacting sidekick, a lady named Erica Ruler. Ernesto and Erica had a house right nearby to the one he imparted to Shirley. And after he quit making his rental installments for a very long time, the proprietor of the house recorded a protest with the courts for rental extortion. This is where things began to go to pieces from him, in light of the fact that once the claims of rental extortion were made against him, this gave the police motivation to investigate his funds, and they found a ton of wreck incidentally. Ernesto and Erica were running a trick, and they had defrauded in excess of 12 individuals out of around $1 million, as per sources. 57-year-old Ernest Williams and 46-year-old Erica Lord contributed individuals to pay them for their business mastery. They would adjust them themselves to their casualties, with those to have the option to develop their brands, their missions, their life objectives, their virtual entertainment, following police. Say their examination initially began at this home on Pinewood Street months prior. Specialists say after Williams and Lord hadn't paid lease for some time, investigators began investigating their monetary exchanges, and it drove them to their broad plan. After they got compensated from their tricks, they basically ghosted their alleged clients and never offered the types of assistance that they paid for. Ernesto was set up for 5 records of connivance to carry out a lawful offense. 2 of the charges were subsequently excused, and his security was set for $15,000. He was likewise set up for 3 extra charges of burglary by assuming activity of praise fix administrations and robbery by duplicity. Assuming you're asking why he was set up for 5 records at first, this is on the grounds that he wasn't just misleading planned clients with Erica, yet he was likewise misleading organizations out of cash. He would visit a business, finish a help, and afterward compose a terrible check. As per court reports, he was accused of misdirection, and with expectation to stay away from installment, purposely get vehicle fix administrations of a worth of in excess of $1,500, yet under $5,000, which were accessible just for remuneration, and for which the blamed neglected to pay. Definitely he was devoted to misleading without a doubt, yet the police kept on investigating him. And they tracked down other upsetting stuff too. As per the police, Ernesto was additionally gotten with some happy in pictures that elaborate kids being depicted in an extremely unseemly manner, if you catch my drift. He was additionally uncovered for having essayed at least 11 kids that is screwed up as anyone might imagine, and he was requested to avoid his casualties and their families. He was additionally requested to avoid all possible creatures, which brings up issues about what the heck has he been doing to creatures. It's insane to think about, and it's simply an exceptionally dreadful circumstance. Yet this was not adequately not to make Shirley leave Ernesto, in light of the fact that she made it more than clear that she would have been staying by her van through various challenges. Ernesto has been in jail for some time now, and certainly essentially asked the courts to deliver him to her. She composed, "I have been informed that in at least one of the cases forthcoming under the watchful eye of the court, I have been recognized as either a casualty of his or observer to an implied criminal demonstration of his, to which I answer that I am neither one of the it's is my aim, that the court realize that I wish for him to be delivered, without any circumstances as respects me, that I wish for him to have the option to dwell with me, or any place he chooses to live, and that his delivery be effectuated quickly. She got hammered vigorously for this, with individuals calling her out for being an empowering agent of Ernesto's awful way of behaving. Yet, however terrible as that seemed to be, we didn't know exactly the way that awful his way of behaving was, on the grounds that extra charges were as of late brought against him. And on the off chance that you feel that things couldn't deteriorate, kid, do I have some insane news for you. It just so happens Ernesto was additionally hit with charges connecting with purchasing and conveying an unlicensed weapon, as per Archives 1, or about May 5, 2022, in the northern locale of Georgia. Ernest Williams, Jr., intentionally had no less than one automatic rifle. He confessed to the charges and was condemned to 2 years in a correctional facility. Anyway, the court said that he could carry out this punishment simultaneously with different sentences that he will get, and allow me to let you know something, he will get a ton of time in jail, gracious. And on the off chance that you are pondering this isn't a piece of the new 5 charges, the 5 charges are completely connected with SA, and they incorporate exasperated as battery S. A bothered homosexuality is battery wrongdoing, and dealing an individual for close bondage. These charges are crazy. It's wow to believe that Shirley is as yet staying with him through this, yet it would appear, in addition to the fact that she is staying with him, as per arraignment legal counselor, she was in any event asking Ernesto to let her assistance him. And by help him she implied that she maintained that him should take off to Dubai. And hey, in Steve Harvey's home around there, the examiner heard unquestionably, letting him know you could go to Steve's place in Dubai, where his children went and lives in a disappear. And I'm practically certain that she didn't want her better half to go around there without Steve's consent. Isn't it a wrongdoing to assist a criminal with getting away from the nation? Or am I missing something? At any rate, Steve has experienced harsh criticism for attempting to help Ernesto in getting himself associated with this wreck. And in the event that you're asking why in the world Steve would get himself integrated with this wreck, it most likely has something to do with the way that Shirley has been his companion for a really long time. He was the person who set Ernesto and Shirley up in any case, and he even assisted Ernesto with proposing to her on air. Let me pose you an inquiry, the lady that you going to pose me this inquiry about, do you love her? Oak? Then without a doubt, yes, this your man here, what, it's a wreck. However, stand by a moment. So it's implied that Steve is quite a while faithful companion of the couple, yet as individuals have brought up unwaveringness, has its cut-off points, and ought not be reached out in cases like this. Steve, offering his home to Ernesto, implies that he is empowering him, and this brings up issues about where Steve's own moralities lie. I mean, in the event that you're willing to not just reserve somebody blamed for these horrendous offenses, yet additionally assist them with escaping the nation and proposition them a hideaway area in another country. In any case, I get it sort of says a ton regarding the kind of individual that you are. He got pummeled online with fans leaving remarks like Steve Harvey over here aiding a man who has been requested to avoid his children and creatures. He offered this man to remain at his home in Dubai and an undisclosed measure of cash to stay away from indictment. It's not surprising to me